fresh, you know, straight out of bed, but I look gorgeous, kind of a fail, you know. Hello my little darlings and welcome back to another video here on my channel, yes indeed. And today is of course... But why do I say of course like you would know? Today is another beauty video here on my channel, and I am gonna talk about something that I feel is not enough talked about in the sense of doing it correctly, or in my opinion is the correct way, and that is natural makeup. Yes indeed. And you know, we're gonna talk a lot more about that, but before we're gonna move into what I think natural makeup should be, or you know, should be treated as, we're just gonna be aware of the fact that down below is a little button or buttons like the like, subscribe and notification icon, which you can press if you want to become a part of the DarlingSquad and the Digazmo family as well. Yes indeed, we are just gonna skip right into this video without any further ado. So, natural makeup. Yes indeed, and I do feel like natural makeup is gonna go more in vogue this year, you know, looking kind of, you know, flawless but not makeup-y, you know, kind of light coverage and that sort of stuff. But you know, when I say natural makeup tutorials on YouTube or, you know, TikTok or Instagram or wherever you are posting them and seeing them, I just feel like it's not natural anywhere, you know. It's still like caking on product, you know, contouring like you're going to poke somebody's eye out with your really sharp cheek contour, and you know, your eyes are made to the gods, you know. And that ain't natural makeup to me, you know. When I think of natural makeup, I think of, you know, kind of your skin, but not your own skin, you know, your natural shadows, you know, and everything on your face are just enhanced, you know. You're not carving out a new jawline, you're not carving out a new cheekbone, you know, and everything is just as it should be, you know, or should be, you know. You're just enhancing your own features, and I am gonna, you know, show you today what I do to do exactly that. So this is my first real tutorial, you know, where I actually feel like I know what I'm talking about, you know. So we are gonna start out right away, and we are gonna start out with a primer.
Yes indeed.
When it comes to primer, you should of course choose one for your own skin type. Yes indeed, and there is a multitude of primers to choose from. Today I am gonna use a mixture of this Hydro Expert from CN. It's a hyaluronic acid and dimethicone infused primer, and I'm also gonna use a little tiny bit of Revolution baking oil. Yes indeed. The reason I do that is because this contains dimethicone, which essentially is straight up silicone. It will smooth out any pores you have, you know, and hyaluronic acid will will, you know, retain and suck up moisture so you don't look dry or anything. Yes indeed. And this baking oil is just oil, you know. It's oil for your skin. It makes it kind of, you know, more dewy, more skin-y than just caking on a matte foundation, a matte primer, you know. So we're gonna use that. Yes indeed. And before I'm gonna put on everything, I will just inform you that I have actually cleansed my face with this micellar water from CN for normal and combination skin, you know. So I have a clean slate, you know, to apply my products on. Yes indeed. So we're gonna go right into my primers, and I am gonna start out with using this Hydro Expert one. It's a dupe for the Neutrogena Hydro series, you know. So if you want to use the Neutrogena one instead, you can totally do that, but I am using this ladle one because this is more in my price range, of course.
I am a broke boy.
And we are of course gonna apply this to the areas where I need some smoothness, which is around my nose, on my nose, my forehead, or you know, essentially all over my face. But we are gonna, you know, concentrate where they are the most prominent. And the reason I am using a brush is because I really don't like the feeling of getting icky sticky on my fingers. Yes indeed, so that is why I am using that. And I have a different brush for different... I am so out of breath right now. For different products, you know. So I have one for oils and one for, you know, skin care. And I do feel like I used the wrong brush for my primer. So I'm using one for skincare, one for primer oils, and one for primers, essentially, you know, because I am that kind of a bitch. And now we're just gonna apply this baking oil as well, you know, so we can get that dewy, kind of healthy glow from within, you know. So I'm just gonna apply that where I didn't, you know, apply that dimethicone and hyaluronic acid primer. It's, you know, it's not a primer, it's a skincare cream, but I'm using it as a primer because I don't feel like dimethicone is a very vital part of skincare, you know. I just hate dimethicone because it just clogs up the pores, but you know, it's really good to make your skin look smoother than what it is, you know. Yes, indeed. We are gonna have to use a different foundation today then, because my plan of using up my makeup were, you know, in vain because it were already used up. So today we are just gonna use this W7 high definition 12-hour wear foundation, and we are just gonna apply a really light and refreshing layer of this foundation, you know. And when I do this, I usually just take 2 pumps like that on a little platter so I can more easily take the right amount onto my face, you know. And when I do this, I usually try to concentrate on the areas where I need the most coverage, you know, like around my eyes and in my forehead and, you know, around my nose and that as well. Well, I hate doing tutorials because, you know, it feels so wrong to actually teach you something. I used to usually sit here looking like a complete buffoon, and we're just gonna apply this really lightly and just really buff it into the skin, you know, so we get that, you know, kind of our skin but better feel, you know, because we really don't want to cake it on to infinity and beyond, you know. And when I see tutorials on doing natural makeup, that is actually what they are doing, you know. They're just caking on full coverage foundations and that sort of stuff, you know. And while I understand why they do it, it's not natural makeup, you know, and natural makeup is not just snatching yourself to the gods either, you know, with contouring and that sort of stuff, you know, because then it will not look natural anymore, and it is not natural because it's just you with a shitload of foundation and makeup on as usual, and that is not the deal we are going with today, you know. We are just gonna go with that really fresh, you know, straight out of bed but I look gorgeous kind of a feel, you know. And depending on your skin type or skin tone, or, you know, how your skin are feeling that particular day, you will have to apply, you know, different amounts of product, you know, to really even out that skin tone, you know, because that is really what this is all about. Just cancelling out and evening out every discoloration and, you know, redness that you might have, any dullness and that sort of stuff, you know. And you should of course really try to use a foundation in your own skin tone, which I am using today, you know. And you know, I can see that I still have some redness around my nose, so we're just gonna try to fix that as well, you know, just evening out everything, making you look like your best possible self, you know. Yes, indeed. Now we have foundation everywhere where we should have foundation, you know, and I just barely used those 2 pumps, you know, and they covered the entirety of my face, you know. So now I'm looking kind of, you know, fresh, awake. I still have my under eye bags peeking through, you know, and that is totally fine. You don't need to look like a completely... You can look a little bit flawed, you know. It's completely natural to look a little bit tired, you know, and that sort of stuff. And, well, that is what this tutorial is all about, you know. Just making yourself look extra fresh and fruity, you know. So I am actually not gonna use any concealer today because, why should I? Because now I look like myself, but still not as tired as I did before, you know. So now we're just gonna move over to powder, and I am not gonna use a loose powder today. I am just gonna use a translucent pressed powder. Yes, indeed. And I am just gonna set everything to its rightful place, you know, using this little brush right here so I can get into every crease and crevice I have, you know. And I am just gonna saturate the brush with this
powder
like that. And we're just gonna gently just press that into place, you know, to really set everything to its rightful place so it doesn't shift throughout the day. And of course I'm starting with my problem areas that usually are creasing, you know, so those are just set to infinity and beyond, you know, so you don't move throughout the rest of the makeup application. Just using really light layers, of course, of everything, because we don't want to look caked up to the gods, you know, today. Yes, like that. My face is set to the
infinity and beyond.
to the gods and back, you know. But it still doesn't look cakey, it's still a little bit glossy, you know. It's, you know, my own skin, but better. And now we're gonna go in and contour. And I am gonna contour my natural shades, and I am just gonna use a compact powder that is a little bit darker than my own skin color, you know. And the reason I am not using a regular contour is because I really don't want those really harsh, dark, I am snatched with those sharp everything, you know. I just want to give myself my natural shadows back. And the easiest way to find those are just to look straight into the mirror with overhead and under lighting, you know, or in a window with a mirror, you know. And then you see where you actually get your shades. So I have my shades when I look straight on, right here, and of course down my nose and in my forehead, you know. And when I turn my head to the side, you can see I get a shadow right down here. So I'm just gonna contour in those places. Yes, indeed. And I am lightly tapping into this little powder, and I am just gonna tap that excess off, of course. And then we're just gonna, you know, gently stamp that powder into place, you know, blending it out with circular movements. Yes, indeed, to really get that natural shade going on. And I'm using an angle brush. Yes, indeed. And I am just gonna set my forehead with its natural shadows, you know, not doing that Instagram oval contour that everybody's doing, you know. I just really want to enhance my own shadows, you know. And I'm just gonna do the same with my nose, but I am, you know, scrunching the brush together like that and just, you know, contouring my nose where the contour or, you know, my shade is, you know, for real. Not changing it up too much, you know. I still have my own nose shape left, you know. Now, my darlings, it's time to highlight, because highlighter is, you know, giving back that glow, you know. It can make you look really fresh and sweaty and dewy, you know. And I am gonna use a little powder, contouring powder from Technique called Get Gorgeous in the color 2573 R18 BQ7964. You know, it's white, so I don't know why I even bothered telling all of those little numbers. Yes, indeed. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing as we did with the contouring. We're just gonna see where we are the most shiny, you know. And I am the most shiny right here, of course. On this area I am also very shiny right here in the middle, and I am also very shiny, you know, in those areas right here. So I'm gonna use a big fat angled brush, a dense one, and I am just gonna dig into that highlighter, and then I'm just gonna tap that excess off as much as I can. Then I'm just gonna stamp that on to my shiny places, you know. And we're of course gonna highlight my nose, but we are not gonna do that with this fat brush because we can't get precise enough, you know, and we'll just get highlighter everywhere. So we are gonna use a little tiny brush, you know, and we are just gonna highlight right here and right up here, you know, because that is where I am the most shiny through my foundation and through the powder, you know. So I'm just gonna lightly, you know, enhance those places, you know, not much, just a little, you know, so we look that kind of dewy, sweaty, kind of a feel, you know. Weird sentence right there. Now it's time for the eyes, you know, and they look kind of flat because I have some foundation on them, you know, on the lids, you know. And usually I just go into that same shade I contoured with, and I'm just gonna put that all over my crease, you know, to just really get back that shadow in that eye. And we're just not gonna do much. We're just gonna take a big fat fluffy brush and just gonna, you know, brush that through like that. Yes, indeed, like that, my darlings. Now it's just one thing left, and that is my brows. And today they are actually looking kinda nice, you know, but they are looking a little teensy tiny bit, you know, just too patchy and that sort of stuff. So we are just gonna brush them through and see if we need to add some color to them. And I actually don't think we need to, you know, put color in my brows today, you know. They look kinda nice, you know. They are very natural but very, very thin, you know. But that is of no matter, my darlings. We are just gonna look natural and flawless today.
Today. Yes, indeed.
I don't know what is wrong with my energy today, but it's not as it usually is. I know that for a fact, and I'm sorry if that affects the enjoyment of this video, but I can't do anything about it, unfortunately. I am sorry for that. Now it's time to set this face, because even though that we are looking natural and, you know, flawless and kind of fresh, but still ourselves, you know, it can be nice to have that look last all day. So we're just gonna spray ourselves with a dewy finish setting spray, and I'm gonna use this stale beer smelling one from NYX, because this will eliminate any sign of you have used powders and that sort of stuff, you know, and it will, you know, make that makeup melt together quite good indeed, you know. And that is my ultra super natural flawless look today, my darlings, and the reason I am doing this look is because when I put on makeup, I usually do it like this, you know. I just try to, you know, make myself look fresh and, you know, kind of awake without looking like I am wearing 1 billion tons of makeup, you know. And sometimes it can just be good, you know, to actually know that it's okay to just put some foundation on, highlighting and contouring your own natural shades, you know, your own natural high points, and, you know, like my crooked nose, you know, it's my nose, you know, but better, because it's not red as Rudolph the reindeer's right now. So yes, my darlings, that is this little makeup tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it, you know, because this is my first real tutorial, it feels like. So please comment down below what you think about this look, my darlings, and this tutorial indeed. Yes.
Please.
So thank you so much for watching, my darlings, and I hope you want to press that like, subscribe and notification icon down below so you can become a part of the DarlingSquad and the Digazmo family as well. And as always, be who you are, since nobody else can, and I see you in the next one.
Bye.